If you constantly second guess yourself, even after you've made a decision, then this conversation's for you. Because self-doubt isn't a personality flaw, it's a habit. And today I want to show you how to gently undo it. So let me describe something and see if it feels familiar. You finally make a decision. So it could be something small, sending an email, setting a boundary, choosing what to focus on today. And for a brief moment, there's relief. And then, we all know it, your mind steps in. Should I have said it differently? What if that wasn't the right choice? Maybe I should rethink this. I've seen this pattern thousands of times. In fact, one woman I worked with, highly intelligent, deeply thoughtful, she said to me something like, I don't trust any decision I make after about 10 minutes. She wasn't indecisive, she was exhausted. Because the problem wasn't decision making, it was decision revisiting. And that's an important distinction. I want to share something personal with you. When I was younger, I didn't just experience self-doubt, I lived inside it. So every decision felt dangerous. Every choice felt like it needed justification. And when you live that way long enough, you start to believe there must be something wrong with me. That belief is what sent me on a 20-year journey, studying happiness, the mind, emotional regulation, and how people actually change. Not theory, not hype, but what works in real human nervous systems. And over the years, I've taught these principles in corporations, universities, I've worked with people privately, and I've watched the same pattern repeat over and over again. Highly capable people who didn't lack intelligence, who didn't lack insight, but who didn't feel safe trusting themselves. So here's the truth that I wish someone had told me earlier. Self-doubt is not a thinking problem. It's a safety strategy. And at some point in your life, you subconsciously or consciously remember that being wrong carried a cost. Maybe you were criticized. Maybe you disappointed someone. Maybe you learned that certainty led to conflict or rejection. So your system adapted and it learned, if I double check myself, I might avoid pain. Now that's not weakness. That's intelligence. It's just frozen in time. So the problem is that what once protected you is now limiting you. I worked with this guy once who described himself as pathologically unsure. So he had a successful career, people respected him, but internally every decision triggered anxiety. And one day he said something to me that absolutely stopped me in my tracks. He said, I don't actually want certainty. I just want the anxiety to stop. That's when it clicked for him. So self-doubt wasn't about finding the right answer. It was about avoiding that feeling of uncertainty. And that's a completely different problem. So here's something subtle but powerful. Self-doubt very rarely appears before a decision. It almost always appears after it. You feel a quiet inner yes and you act on it. And then the mind rushes in. Why? Because clarity is calm. And calm can feel unsafe, especially if your system is used to vigilance. So the mind says, wait a minute, let's check this again. And this is where most people unknowingly reinforce self-doubt. So every time doubt appears, you're standing at a fork in the road. Path 1, you engage with it. You analyze, you reopen the decision. Your brain learns doubt deserves authority. Or part 2, you acknowledge the doubt without reopening the decision. Your brain learns, I can feel uncertainty and survive. That's not confidence, that's self-trust. And self-trust is built behaviorally, not intellectually. So a woman in one of my programs once said to me, I don't trust myself because I've made mistakes. So her and I slowed that right down. And I asked her, okay, think about one of your kids when they were learning to walk. And when they were learning to walk and they fell over, do you say to them, that's it? I can't trust you anymore? Of course not. But somewhere along the way, we decided we don't get that same compassion. So self-trust isn't about never getting it wrong. It's about staying with yourself when you do. So here's a practice I've seen change lives. A simple one. When you make a decision, say internally to yourself, I made the best decision I could with the information I had at the time. Then commit to not revisiting it for 24 hours. No mental rehearsals, no rejustifying, no explaining yourself to yourself. If doubt arises, say to yourself gently, thank you, I've got this. And this may feel uncomfortable at first because that discomfort isn't danger, it's neurological rewiring. So when people tell me this feels hard, I say to them, good, that means it's new. So you're teaching your nervous system that uncertainty isn't lethal, mistakes aren't catastrophic, and you don't need constant vigilance to be okay. And when you do this over time, something beautiful happens. The doubt softens, the loop shortens, your energy returns. So when you stop second guessing yourself, decisions become simpler. Anxiety drops, self-respect grows, life feels quieter inside. Not because you're always right, but because you stop abandoning yourself mid-decision. And that changes how you show up everywhere. So if this resonates, it can be incredibly helpful to understand where your self-trust is breaking down specifically. And so I would love you to like and subscribe, and then I can help you on your path to trusting yourself. You don't need more confidence. You don't need to become someone else. You need a new relationship with uncertainty. And that's something you can learn step by step. So after your next decision, don't reopen it. Let that be enough. As always, I hope this was helpful. Be kind, take care, go gently in the world.